Hello guys, I wanted to create like a quick video on some issue that I run into while doing a project on blockchain. So here I wanted to be like a simple dApp where I can see all the different yields available from Aave based on the different chain. So here, for instance, I have like Sepolia, Optimisms, Arbitrum, and then I want to fetch like on the different chain like the balance of the user in USDC, but it could be like any kind of tokens, and then the API that are linked to the Aave vault. And so I ran into some issue because here I have like different components where I'm kind of fetching the information, but I need a way to kind of use that globally. Let me explain this issue. So basically in the code, like I will have like a simple page that's going to have like a component. So that will be like the chain performance component that you can see in this layout. And basically inside this component, what I'm doing is that based on the different like chain available on my Wagmi configuration, I'm going to iterate through them and render like a new component. And inside this component, I'm taking as a parameter chain, and then I'm kind of fetching all the different data that I need. So here, for instance, I'm fetching like the pool of the address that I need based on the chain ID. So the pool of the address is the RV1. Based on this one, I'm going to fetch the pool data information. So I'm using a basic hook with Wagmi to fetch this information. Same for the balance of the user in USDC. I'm fetching this based on the chain and the user address. And then based on that, I'm doing some processing. So here I'm computing like the API based on the Aave pool. And then I can kind of display the information. So this works pretty well when, I mean, for this kind of information. But the main issue that I run into is that now I kind of would like to display like the best API chain in another component. And this is becoming kind of a nightmare. So for that, a simple way that I've found out is to pass as a props a function where in my aggregator, I'm going to define one that's going to aggregate all the different chain information, and once all the different chain data are loaded, I'm going to compute like the best chain ID, right? So this is like, this works pretty well, I mean, for this one, but it's kind of becoming more and more complex. And I wanted to simplify everything, and I kind of find a solution that might be interesting to go through. So here, the issue that I run into is that the state of the different information are not shared across all the app. And also the second issue is that the loading of the data is inside a component. And so we want to kind of avoid that in order to load at a single point like all the different information and be able to share across all the different chain everything. So one way to do that is by using a provider. And also like using storage. So for that, I create like with Zustand, which is like a library, a store mechanisms. So basically with Zustand, you can define like a way of defining your data. So here, for instance, for the USDC balances, I will have like a balance data that I can update. And the same for the vaults. So the vaults will be like the Aave information that I will fetch. And so for that, I'm going to use like, if we go back to the kind of the app, so basically I will have a page where inside I'm going to define the provider. This provider will be in charge of loading all the different data that I need in order to use in my app. And so here, for instance, in this provider, I'm going to iterate over all the different chains that I'm using in my configuration, and then render like the component that I want to display to the users. And so this provider is can only be used if it is defined inside my component to avoid like some issue. And so here I can define like for all my different chains the way to retrieve the data. So basically in this provider, it will be like in charge of one chain ID, and then it's going to fetch like the balance of the users and also like the pool information based on the chain ID and the address that we have fetched, again based on the chain ID. So this kind of simplify all the different logic, because now it's kind of, we have kind of split between like the way we render the data and the way we are fetching them. And so here, for instance, in this provider, I'm going to have like the logic that I wanted to have here. So here I'm retrieving the data, I'm computing like the APR, and then I can update with Zustand like the data that I want to store. And so again, I've kind of split what I wanted to set in the vault, because here now I can kind of configure as I want, like the way that I'm putting like the data into my my data. I mean, here I can define like once all the different data are loaded, I can compute like the best chain ID that I needed, and then I can use it in any kind of component. So this is like a way for me that I found really interesting, because it's kind of split like the different logic, and it is really kind of useful, because now if I want to use it, I can simply like call from Zustand like the data that I want. And so here, for instance, I'm loading like from the store like the best chain ID, and I can use it and in my different component. If now we go through like the one that was for rendering like the different like information on the vault and the balance of the user, you can see that now I have only like two calls that I'm doing. The one for fetching like the vault information based on the chain ID that I wanted to render, and the other one will be like the balance of the user based again on the chain ID that I want to render. And here, this is all I need to do. Like, I do not need to kind of define all my logic to fetching the data based on or using a hook with Wagmi based on the chain ID, and also all the different logic like to pass through like through props, everything. Like, I don't have like a handler to kind of monitoring and managing all the different like logic that I want, especially for the best chain ID, right? So yeah, this works pretty well. I don't know if you are familiar with other kind of approach for that. I mean, this one works pretty well, and if you have maybe other approach, let me know. I would be interested, because right now it's kind of difficult, in my opinion, to build like a dApp with multiple chains, multiple tokens. I don't think we have like established a well kind of organization for project like that. So I would be interested, and yeah, feel free if you have any question.